Do you love video games, but you're bad at them? Constantly the dead weight on your team? You figure the more you play, the better you'll get. But years pass and you're still stuck at the same rank. You might think you need to make huge changes to see real improvement. Get the top of the line gamer chair, next level gamer glasses, the fanciest keyboard on the market. But what if you could get better by simply making small improvements? That's what this book is all about. Atomic Habits. You've probably heard of it before. Most people read it to help build tiny habits that improve their daily lives. Eat healthy, wake up early, exercise regularly. But I'm a Dota player, and Dota players don't really care about any of that stuff. Instead, we care about winning games, gaining MMR, and having a terrible time all while doing it. But I found some tips in this book that actually translate perfectly to video games, especially one of the sweatiest ones in the entire world, Dota 2. So today, I'm going to share 4 tips from this book that'll actually help you get good in really any video game you want. And I'll touch a lot on Dota 2 because that's what I have the most experience with, so bear with me when I try to use examples from other games. Have you ever consciously decided to improve at something in a video game? Maybe that's your aim in Counter-Strike, or your early game rotations in Dota 2. But you find that things just don't work out. Your aim is off more than normal, your rotations fail, so you say, that didn't work, why do I even try? Then you go back to your old ways. Wait. This is what the author calls the ice cube effect, and you cannot let yourself lose to it. Imagine you have an ice cube, and the room you're in is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Then it slowly starts to heat up, 29, 30, 31. The ice cube is still there, unchanged, until suddenly at 32 degrees, it starts to melt. That last 1 degree shift, seemingly no different than all before it, has unlocked a huge change. And now I'm all wet. So how does this relate to video games? Well, it's actually the same exact idea when trying to improve. You see, when you start to build a new habit or skill, you might not see results right away, just like the ice cube. But that doesn't mean nothing's changing. Every shot that hits or misses, every rotation that succeeds or fails miserably, you're learning what works and what doesn't. Your ice cube is warming up to the point where you get so good at that thing that you don't even have to think about when or how to do it. It becomes a habit. One of the best examples is last hitting in Dota 2. If you're new to the game, you probably spend a lot of your focus on when the perfect time to hit the creep is. If you're experienced, you're probably last hitting while you're looking at a completely different part of the map, while you're using your courier, while you're fighting people in your lane, and taking 10 other things into consideration. You've gotten so good at it that you don't even have to think about it. So every time you fail and your efforts seem to be for nothing, it's actually progress toward doing the right thing more often. And that is so important for building strong skills and habits. Who's gonna be a better player after 6 months? Player A, the soy boy who plays it safe and does the same thing every single game, or player B, the Giga Chad who ganks other lanes when nobody expects it, tries new things all the time so they have a better understanding of different situations. It's the Giga Chad every single time. Why do you think Thompson is so loved in Dota 2 and often regarded as one of the best to ever play the game? Because he doesn't follow the norm. He tries different things even when they seem ridiculous. So don't stop trying to improve even when things don't seem to be working out. Imagine going for a run and being mad that you didn't lose weight by the time you got home. That doesn't make any sense. That's just not how it works. Things take time, but if you stick with it, you will see improvement. Comment down below right now, what is your current goal in your video game of choice? To hit a certain rank? To always have a positive KDA in Valorant, Deadlock, Overwatch? Whatever your goal is, great, but forget about it. So goals are great. They give you a sense of direction, but that's kind of all they are. Direction. And direction alone isn't going to get you where you want to be. The key, the juice, the secret sauce is your systems. And that's a theme that's heavily emphasized in this book. If you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. Bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. So what does that look like in video games? Well, let's say you know your positioning is always trash. Whether that's in Counter-Strike, Dota, Deadlock, all happen to be Valve games actually. Your goal might be, I want to have better positioning. So you load into each match with that in mind, thinking you're improving yourself. Great, but now what? You have the right intention, but you're missing your system, the thing that actually gets you to your goal. Your system might be, instead of playing one last game for the night, spend that time to watch a replay and notice how your positioning could have been better, or watch the replay of a higher ranked player and see what they do compared to what you might have done. Now, that's one of your systems. Another one, maybe your laning phase is always trash. You die a lot, you miss a lot of free last hits. Your system might be to focus really hard on your laning phase. Look up what your early itemization should be, practice your last hitting and denying, and boom, you have another system. And when you start to build up these systems, you actually start to become very dangerous, because you're not just autopiloting through your games like most people do. You're consciously improving in all of these different areas. And when you do that enough, it becomes inevitable that your systems bring you to your goal, all while not even focusing on the goal at all. To figure out what your system should look like, that depends on your game. But often it's about taking the bigger problem and breaking it into smaller pieces, just like the laning phase example, and then tackling each of those at a time. There's a quote that the author mentions from 3-time Super Bowl winner Bill Walsh. When talking about improvement and focusing on the little things, he says the score will take care of itself. Focus on building your strong systems and your MMR will take care of itself. If you had to describe what kind of player you are, and you were being honest, what would that sound like? What about your teammates in your pubs? Are those descriptions different, or do you have an identity that you're sticking to? Do you have identity-based habits? Now, what does that even mean? The book talks about how important your identity is for both good and bad habits. There's this example from the book that I like a lot, and it's really simple. Imagine two people who quit smoking last week, and they're both offered a cigarette. One says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." The other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." Who do you think is more likely to start smoking again? It's a small difference, but it matters, because behind every system of actions is a system of beliefs. And if you have a system, like we just talked about, that you don't actually believe in, that system is going to fail, and your goal will never be achieved. So why does your identity matter in video games? If you want to rank up, just get good, right? This touches on a topic that most people don't really recognize enough, especially in competitive games. And it goes back to the original question. What kind of player are you? What kind of identity do you have? Are you a toxic, annoying, whiny player who gives up whenever something doesn't go your way? Well, guess what? That identity is reinforcing habits that come with someone like that. Easily tilts, makes bad decisions, loses games. Now look at the untiltable mountain, max PMA Giga Chad. Never complains, never blames teammates, never gives up. If you identify as that kind of player, you're more likely to act like that kind of player. And guess what? That player has a way higher chance to win their games. Why? Because someone who's in that state of mind, even having fun, is going to perform way better than someone who's tilted. Watch one of the true sites and you'll realize how important mentality is for competition. The identity reinforces the habit. The habit supports the identity. They work together. The person who identified as not a smoker is reinforcing their habit of not smoking, just by simply taking on that identity. Because the more pride you have in a certain aspect of your identity, the more motivated you'll be to maintain habits associated with it. If you're proud of how your hair looks, you'll develop habits to care for and maintain it. If you're proud of your physique, you'll make sure that you never miss a workout. Imagine trying to identify as a PMA Giga Chad when all you do is get tilted and flame your teammates. You can't. It just doesn't work. The process of building habits is actually the process of becoming yourself. And I know that sounds really deep, but it's really true. Now, you don't have to be an angel or a robot that isn't fazed by anything, but at least find an identity that's the type of person you'd want on your team, who tries until the very end and is enjoyable to have around. The last tip is my favorite from this whole book. It's the best way to start a new habit and actually have it stick. It's called habit stacking. Not to be confused with stacking camps in Dota, although I could use that as an example. And for non-Dota players, that just means making NPC enemies spawn on top of each other, so they're stacked. Let's say you have a habit of stacking your small camp during the laning phase, but that's it. You just stack it and not really do anything with it. Then you figure out that it's good to pull after you stack. Now it's a habit to stack and then pull. You just habit stack. Then let's say you realize that when you do this, your noob carry gets harassed and dies in lane because you stepped away. Now you build a habit to stack, pull, then check on your carry to see if they need help. You just habit stacked again. So habit stacking is just taking a habit that you already have and stacking a new behavior on top of that. Now here's why this is so powerful. A key point in this book is the cue that each habit has. Cue meaning what signals an action. You get home from work and that's your cue to kick off your shoes and start playing video games. You wake up in the morning and get out of bed. That's your cue to go to the kitchen and make a cup of coffee. All habits start with a cue. So if you can trick your brain into recognizing a cue, you can use that to start building a new habit. And what better cue than a habit that's already established? So the original habit itself becomes the cue for your new habit. That way, you don't even have to think about when or where you'll do the new habit. It's already decided. You do the new thing right after you do the old thing. And this can be applied anywhere you want to improve. Just team wipe the enemies? Don't run back to your side of the map. Use that as a cue to look at the map and see what kind of objectives your team can take. Now, whenever you win a fight, that's your cue to go take something on the map. Just finished a key item? That's your cue to go take a fight. Just got a kill in lane? That's a cue to buy items and bring them out on the courier so you're not behind on resources when the enemy returns. The important part is if you want to build a new habit, it can be easiest to build that off of an existing one. This makes the cue to do the new habit extremely obvious. Every time I do this, I need to make sure that I'm doing this afterward. It makes building new habits extremely easy. You don't even have to think about doing the habit or not. It just happens on its own. And when you have a bunch of good habits that take care of repeated problems you face, that gives your brain more freedom to focus on new problems that come up. And over time, you're becoming a very well-prepared player. And that's the type of player that wins games. So what did we learn? 1. The ice cube effect. Don't get discouraged when you don't see improvement right away. Sometimes it's not apparent, even though it's there. The effort you're putting in will pay off. 2. Systems, not goals. Goals are about direction. Systems are about progress. Set up good systems to improve in different aspects of the game and the MMR will take care of itself. 3. Identity-based habits. Your identity reinforces your habits. Your habits support your identity. It's a cycle that works together. Identify as a type of player you'd want on your team, and you'll start to be that type of player. 4. Habit stacking. The best way to build a new habit is to stick it right at the end of an existing habit. This way, the cue to do the new thing is completely obvious. Stack enough times and you'll be a 5-head unstoppable Giga Chad skyrocketing to new ranks like it's the easiest thing you've ever done. Let me know in the comments what your favorite tip was. I'm going to be responding to a bunch of comments because I love talking about this stuff. This video is pretty different from what I usually do. So if you liked it, be sure to actually like it, comment, and subscribe. And thank you as always to the members on Patreon and YouTube for going the extra mile and supporting me and my content. You guys are amazing and help me continue to make educational content for you all. And this is really one of my favorite things to do. So thank you. YouTube thinks that you might like this other video of mine, or maybe this playlist of videos where I break down complex Dota mechanics in a really easy to understand way. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something new with me. Bye!